Hey guys, another review of radicals. Same thing we've been doing. We're looking at the index, we're prime factoring, we are circling whatever can be broken out of jail. Whatever doesn't get broken out is what stays in the radical. These are just bigger numbers. It's another review. So if you already know what you're doing, fantastic. Take the notes, do them yourselves, and make sure that you got the right answer. Otherwise, I would love to teach you because you know I love math. Okay, let's look at the first one. Now, there is not a number there, which means that it's always 2. If you don't see a number in your index, then it's a 2, always. Otherwise, there will be a number there. So we have to do the square root of 36 and x to the 10. Now, the square root of 36 is 6 times 6. I could prime factor that, but I know that that's already a perfect square. If you don't and you prime factor it, that's okay. You're gonna end up with the same number. You're gonna end up with 6. You're gonna find that there are 2 2's and that there are 2 3's. You're gonna circle those 2's, circle those 3's. 2 times 3 is 6. You'll get the same answer. Or look at your factor sheet and you should see that it's also a perfect square. So then all we're left with is our x to the 10. So I'm writing my 10 x's. And then I have 2, so groups of 2 get taken out. So my answer is going to be 6, x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the other thing that you might be able to notice. If you don't, that's okay. Keep doing it this way. Is that 10 divided by 2 is 5. So if you notice that, because remember math is all about patterns, if you notice that, then you can do it that way. If your brain doesn't work that way, that's okay. Do it this way. Both get you the same answer. All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2, we have the square root of 54 times x cubed. Now, what's this number? If it's not there, it's a 2. 54 is not a perfect square, which means we need to prime factor it. So 54 is an even number. So it goes 2, 27, 3, 9, 3, 3. And then I have 3 x's. All I did was I broke down what this is into its prime factorization. Then all I have to do is circle my groups. How many are in a group? 2. I don't have a group of 2 or a group of 3 that I can put that in. So those stay in jail, inside the radical. The things that get circled get out of jail, which means that I have a 3x, and then inside jail, 2 times 3 is 6, and I have an x left also. So always prime factor if you see a number. First, maybe check to see if you can find a perfect square. But our next number is fairly large. And I wouldn't be able to find, especially this is a perfect cube, or this is a cube. It's the cube root of 216 x10 y2. So, same thing. We're going to prime factor our 216. 216 is an even number, which means we can go 2 and 108, 2 and 54. We just did 54. So 2 and 27, 3, 9, 3, 3. Now I know I went through that fairly quickly, but when we prime factor, I always am looking for either something that can be divided by 2, 3, or 5 initially. When I see an even number, I always divide by 2 first, just because that's what's easiest to me. So, and I knew what 108 divided by 2 was, and then we had just done 54. So I prime factored this. The other thing that I really like to do is make sure that I can see all of my numbers all along. So I don't want to divide by, let's say, 4, that then can be divided by another number, because then it makes it harder for me to see what prime numbers this has been divided by. So please divide by prime numbers. Don't divide by a 4 or an 8 or something else that's going to need to be broken down. All right, so I broke down my number. I need to write 10 x's. And I need to write 2 y's. Now, how many does it take to break it out of jail? 3. So I'm going to circle groups of 3. I keep looking for groups of 3 until there aren't any. So I had 3 3s and I had 3 2s. My x's, I keep looking for groups of 3 until there aren't any. So this is going to be 2 times 3 x, and I have 1, 2, 3 groups of x's. Put my little 3 index. What's left over? I have an x is left over and a y squared. So whatever's left over stays in. Whatever I've circled comes out. 2 times 3 is 6. We could rewrite that as 6, but I'm not going to. It'll be okay if you don't. I assume that you will be able to. You know that 2 times 3 is 6. Now we're getting into some big numbers. So I have the 4th root of 486 x to the 22. Some big numbers. So first things first, prime factor. 486 can be divided by 2 and it's 243. It ends in 3, which means it is not an even number, but it is divisible by 3. So 243 divided by 3 is 81. Again, I'm a big nerd. I know that 81 you can divide by 3 and you get 27. 27 you can divide by 3 and you get 9, and 9 can be broken into 3s. Then I need to write 22 x's. All right, so I wrote my 22 x's. So let's see what can be broken out of jail. I have the number 4 as my index, which means that I need groups of 4. I have group of 4. Then my x's, I actually wrote them in groups of 4 so that it'd be easy to see. So what do I have? I have 3 x to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I have 5 groups of x's. And then what's left in jail? 2 times 3 is 6. And I have 2 x's left over. So 6x squared. Whatever I've circled comes out of jail. Whatever I have not circled stays in jail. So we have one more problem left to do, and then we're done. In the contact, if you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. You have an assessment to do and you have some homework to do. Know what you're doing. You guys are smart. You can do this. Our last thing is holy huge. 972 x to the 5th, y to the 7th, z to the 9th, and it is the 5th root. So first thing we do is we break everything down. I'm going to break down this 972. It is an even number because it ends in 2. So I'm going to divide that by 2. And it goes to 486. Now, we did 486 on the last one. So 486 divided by 2 becomes 243. 243 divided by 3 becomes 81. 81 divided by 3 becomes 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Oh, my dog came in to visit us. All right. So now let's write down our x's. I have 5 x's. I have 7 y's. and I have 9 z's. The last thing, so all I've done is I've broken this down into prime numbers and wrote all of my x, y's, and z's. I now need to circle groups of 5 because that's my index. There should have been another 3 there. 3, oh, that's because, guys, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. That's because 81 divided by 3 is 27. Sorry. 27 divided by 3 is 9, and 9 divided by 3. So now let's circle our groups of 5. I have 5 3's, I have 5 x's, 5 y's, z's. So everything that's circled gets to come out of jail. I have 3 x, y, z. And anything that's not circled goes back in jail. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I have y, but I have 2 of them, so it's y squared. And I have 4 z's left over, z to the 4th. That's it. So anything that did not get circled stays in jail. All right, you guys are amazing. Do your homework.